The awards have been raining down on Bristol City. It says a lot about what the club is doing, what the players are up to off the pitch as well. You must be delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously with Bryan winning that award, which is great for him, shows you what a great person he is. But I'm sure it wasn't by design, if you know what I mean. He's just generally a good person every day, and that's manifested in an award, which is great. Obviously Bobby, it's brilliant for him to get his second award, and actually I thought that award was the last award. So when I said he's voted by your peers, that's the biggest accolade you could get, he has now, and maybe, I don't know, a Nostradamus or something. But no, I'm delighted for him because he's a very good professional. He's worked very hard, and I think he sets the standards for the rest of the players.
It says a lot about the coaches as well, who have shown a lot of faith in Bobby and his new position as well.
Yeah, but I think the coaches all the way through since he was 8 years old and he came here. I think it's a real credit to everybody that's played a part in Bobby's performances over the years and his rise. And he was a very slight frame as a young player, particularly when I was still here, and I remember at sort of 16 he almost struggled to hit the crossbar from the edge of the box. So the physicality's improved. He's always been technically very, very good, and he's always been sharp, but he's matured and he's blossoming at exactly the right time.
3 games to go, 9 points is the target. Can you just tell us how much you want it, how much the squad wants to end on a high?
Well, we want to get the maximum points because obviously it was a disappointing result. Let's not hide away from that. We wanted to go and beat Middlesbrough. Didn't quite perform. Well, we've done all right. The boys worked hard. They're a good side. You have to respect that with a lot of big name players and big resources sort of behind them. But on the day we had some good chances, couldn't quite finish, and obviously we talked about didn't quite keep them out rigid enough, where we were strong enough at the back to be able to handle their threat. So the challenge and the mini challenge is make sure we get 9 points, and of course that's not easy, that's very difficult, but what we do know is that we'd be kicking ourselves if we didn't go into the games with the right attitude, and if 9 points would have been enough, 74 points to get into the playoffs, and we didn't show the attitude or the desire to get those 9 points. So the boys have to make sure that everything they do, and they do, they're a good group, and they work extremely hard, and this week again has been another good week in training, and but inevitably it's about taking it over that line, and as you cross the line being able to perform to your best and influence others around you.
And what's the mood like in the camp? I suppose the players know what the task is at hand and they're ready for that.
Yeah, well, they're a good group. Do you know what I mean? They're all nice lads, and naturally you're disappointed, as we all are, as supporters will be, and staff are, and players, if you don't get a result, any result, because you want to win. But they do bounce back very, very quickly. Like I say, for me, the marker is always training. Are they training well? Are they training with enthusiasm? We like to think we put on good, bright, enthusiastic sessions, but of course they have to play a part in that, and they have to show that enthusiasm back, and they do. And this week's been no different. Today we had a ball machine, for example, coming in, and we was having a lot of fun with that, working with the goalkeepers and a bit of technical finishing, and it was interesting. But there's a lot of elements that we need to improve as a football club, but I think the awards that we've had this year, both on and off the pitch, show that we're heading in the right direction.
On to Hull City then, who you play on Saturday. Looking at the last game, last time we played them 3-2, Josh Brownhill's last minute goal, if you like, 2-0 down, so you'll be hoping not to go 2-0 down again this time, but it showed great character. What do you expect from Hull City this time round?
I think they're a completely different side, one that's full of confidence now. I think at the time we got them, and we got them by the way they sort of capitulated a little bit mentally, but I think obviously a new manager's gone in there, done very well. They always had a decent squad. It was always a bit of a surprise, and that's the beauty and the challenge of the Championship, because you've only got to look at Reading, for example, finished in the playoff final last year, and struggling pretty much all season in and around the relegation places. So having spent 15-16 million, so it's crazy, this game, and the Championship I think is the best league in the world, but also the craziest league in the world, so therefore you have to keep making good decisions, and that's what we try and do.
Hull City have all but guaranteed safety. Do you expect them to come out fighting for that vital win they need, or will they sit back and maybe just aim for a solid, non-risky point?
No, I think they'll go for the win. I think all teams do in that position now. I think they play with the freedom that gives you, and obviously the manager will use all the sort of tricks at his disposal, if you like, probably challenge people to be there next year, because Hull's a big club, obviously recently relegated from the Premier League, so firing with parachute payments, and they made some big signs in the summer, and I'm sure they'll continue to make big signings. So they're a team that next year, if you like, you'd expect them to be in and around it.
And just finally, any word on injuries? Bailey Wright, how is he doing? And I think Jamie Patton had a bug recently as well.
Yeah, Pato's fine. He trained straight away after the next training day after the match. We had a little behind closed doors friendly, of which he played 45 minutes in. And Bailey Wright is not quite there yet. He's just got a slight bit of aggravation still on the stretch on the top of the thigh. However, we are going to try and give him a go Friday, see whether he can train.